I'm thinking about doing a video on video game addiction for a while now, but I've always run into a problem of, how do I tackle this issue? How do I really go about it? Because I'm kind of mixed on it, and I'm not going to get into it too much now because it isn't the focus of the video. Because this video is going to be focused on escapism and whether it's good or bad, which is just kind of one aspect of video game addiction. So I'm a little mixed on this because I always thought, escapism is bad, right? Because it is a cause for depression. It is a cause for disconnect from the world and trying to avoid your problems by every time you encounter a situation that's too stressful, you just go into your little safe zone. You go over to that spot instead of tackling your problems, and you then get closed off to society and talking to them. But after hearing from someone that actually thinks it's a good idea, um, it's kind of changed my thoughts and perspective on it because it is a way because it may not always be just a cause, but rather a solution to depression. Someone going through a hard time that has no way of really tackling an issue or talking about it or whatever. They just needs a break or some time, like a passing of a family member or a pet or something like that. That's just it's hard for them to talk about or something. Like for instance, when I was growing up, I had problems sustaining a conversation with people, which was turning me into an anti-social person, an anti-social individual. But because of gaming, I was able to open up and withstand quite long conversations with people purely on video games themselves. So, it prevented me from slipping into depression. So, it is possible as well. It is a way for people to blow off steam and, um, though at the same, like if they're angry at the kid bullying them one day, they can just go on a video game and let it out. Or, and, it's help them to bottle their emotions though, which is a bit of a problem. Although some people, it depends on the person because that might also make them want to talk about those sort of issues. If they're playing like some game that darkly betrays drug abuse and maybe they've been going through that sort of thing. I know someone who's gone through that and they're struggling to be like, oh, how do I do this? How do I talk to this individual about that sort of problem? And, there's also, instead of it always being a violent game that they tend to, there's multiple different games out there. Some are just relaxing games, so they're not all going to be ultra violent stuff. And um, some of them might be rhythm games or um, platforming games or games like this where it's dark and grim and you got to deal with depression and the problems of war. And it does create, like, if it's a puzzle solving game like what is it, Portal 2, you encounter multiple different things like problem solving, hand-eye coordination, what is it? I wouldn't really say stress management from it, but reaction time. So games can be beneficial in that aspect, as we probably all know, being gamers. But I just wanted to talk for a moment about escapism and video game escapism, to be precise, and whether or not it's a good thing, because it still is a milestone to video game addiction, which is a serious problem and can destroy lives, of course. But as many people have said, gone through that, like, it does help people to talk about an issue like depression or whatever. They just talk about the problem, which changes a lot for people when they're actually able to address the issue and face it head on. But um, or have a new way of thinking about things and seeing things from other people's perspectives, which it also allows you to do through gaming. And other things like that. It also depends on the sort of game that they kind of get their escapism from, I guess. So that also adds to how unsure, I guess, how vague the topic is. So yeah, I'd like to hear what you guys think, whether you think video game escapism is good or bad, and I'd like to hear why if you do decide to tell me.